Welcome to quarter two. If you were with us in quarter one, you did something real. You went inward. You confronted who you are, what you carry, where the patterns came from. That was the foundation. And foundations are not glamorous work, they're necessary work. Quarter two is different though. Quarter two is where we build on top of that foundation. Quarter two is execution. And before we execute, before we talk about the money, the career, relationships, as well as the legacy, there's one question that has to come first. Why? Why are you building what you're building? Why do you want what you want? Why does any of it actually matter to you? Not your family, not your friends, not your parents, not your feed, not to the version of success you absorbed from the culture, but you. Because here's what I've learned: a man without a clear why will work hard his entire life and still feel empty. He'll hit goals that don't move him. He'll make money that doesn't satisfy him. He'll achieve things that look right from the outside, but feel hollow from the inside. And that is not the goal. And quarter two will not let you hold that story. This is Son IE. I'm EXO. Let's talk about purpose. Let me start by naming the problem, because I think a lot of men, especially men who grew up without a lot of resources, without a lot of options, without adults who had the luxury of asking, "What's your passion?" We're given a very specific and very limited version of purpose. It sounded like this: work hard, provide, survive. That was the roadmap. Not to thrive, but survive. Not purpose, but provision. And a lot of our fathers and grandfathers, that was the only honest answer available to them at the time. When your options are constrained by poverty, by racism, by a system that wasn't built for you to win, the question of purpose gets compressed down to, how do I keep the lights on? So we inherited that compression. We inherited the idea that purpose is something other people get to have. People with options, people with safety nets, people who didn't have to worry about whether the rent was covered. We learned to push through, not pursue. We learned to execute, not explore. And in 2024, a survey that was done on Black men's mental health, when asked what was the biggest I'm going to get ahead of myself. What was the biggest challenge facing them? The number one answer wasn't money, it wasn't discrimination, it was purpose and meaning. Black men at every income level in every city reporting the same thing. I don't know why I'm doing all of this. I just know I can't stop. And that costs a lot. That is the cost of inheriting provision as purpose. You become very good at working and very disconnected with why. I want to be clear. This is not criticism of the man who came before us. They paved the way. We're grateful for them. They did what they did what they needed to with what they had. But now we're talking about us. We have more access, we have more information, more permission than any other generation before us to ask the real question. And it would be a waste of everything they sacrificed if we didn't use it. So, before we talk about how to find purpose, I want to clear up what purpose actually is, because I think the word has been so overused these days, it's almost lost its meaning. Purpose is not your passion. Passion is emotional, it fluctuates. You can be passionate about something on Monday and exhausted by it on Friday. We all been there, right? If you build your life around whatever you're most excited about at any given moment, you will spend your rest of your life chasing feelings that is not a foundation. We can't do that. I've been there. This is about 2024. That's where I was chasing things that really didn't satisfy me internally. But and then I had to discover, like, purpose. What is my purpose? What is my purpose here? Because purpose is not your job title. It's not your business. It's not the thing you get paid for. I thought it was. Boy, was I wrong. Those can be expressions of purpose, but they are not purpose itself. Because if your company closes or your career shifts, a job as purpose leaves you with nothing. And purpose is not one singular dramatic thing you're destined to do. That's that movie. That's that movie shit. Real life is messier. We all know that. And the men who wait for lightning to strike in a bottle with that, oh, I found my calling, tends to be the men that's still waiting a decade later. And I want to stop that right there so we can really nip that in the butt and figure out what is our purpose. And that leads me up to a Japanese concept called Ikigai. It translates roughly to your reason for being or the reason to get up in the morning. Research on Ikigai found that purpose doesn't require grand global impacts. It can be found in small, daily, deeply personal activities. And the key intersection is where what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what can sustain you financially, they all overlap. That overlap is where purpose lives. It's not a single answer, it is a direction. So, here is how I define purpose for the brother who wasn't handed the roadmap. Purpose is an intersection of what makes you come alive, what you are genuinely built for, what creates real value for others. It's not what looks impressive. It's not what your parents dreamed of you. It is a thing that when you're doing it, makes the effort feel worth it, even when on the hard days. And here's the critical financial piece. Purpose that cannot eventually sustain you financially is a hobby. Yes, I said it. That is not judgment, that is clarity, because here at Sinai, we hold both pillars. We want you to be purposeful and financially free. Those are not in conflict, but you have to be intentional about building toward both, not just one. So let me hit y'all with some evidence. I want to make a case for purpose not as a nice to have, but as health and financial imperative because the research is not subtle about this. A meta analysis of over 108,000 participants across 16 studies found that people with a greater sense of purpose in life experience significantly less psychological stress. Not significantly less, not slightly less, significantly less. Purpose functions as a buffer against anxiety, depression, and the kind of chronic stress that quietly dismantles your health over time. And the Okinawa research, one of the most studied longevity populations in the world, found that people who live longest and report highest well being are not the wealthiest or the most successful by conventional metrics. They are the people who know their ikigai, the clearest reason to get up in the morning. I got some more research for y'all. Research published in Formal Psychology found that when individuals have a strong sense of purpose, they exhibit higher intrinsic motivation, doing things because they are generally rewarding rather than for external validation. We all live with that. We all seek that external validation, but it starts internally. They show greater cognitive resilience, the ability to withstand stress and neurological pressure, and they experience, I gotta slow with this word, and they experience eudaimoc, eudaimoc well-being, the kind of deep satisfaction that comes from growth and meaning, not just pleasure. Purpose is not soft. It's not one of the most, it is one of the most powerful performance variables in human psychology. Now connect that to finances. A man running on pure survival mode, working to provide, running without a why, is making financial decisions from fear. Fear-based financial decisions look like chasing income at any cost, tolerating work that depletes you because the money is decent, spending impulsively to compensate for the emptiness, or never investing in yourself because you don't believe you're worth long game. And honestly, that was me in 2024. Fear-based thinking my purpose was connected to what I was doing at the time. I was chasing different income, tolerating the work that was really depleting my energy at the end of the day, leaving me feeling empty, feeling like, is all this really worth it? Because at that time, before that, money is all I wanted. I'm saying family and good health and everything, but I was striving to be rich and wealthy. And when I was blessed with it, still felt empty. And that's why 2025 I had to take some time and do some research. and really study and become self-aware of myself and understand what is my true purpose. Because purpose-driven financial decisions look different. They look like building income streams aligned with what you're actually built for. Investing intentionally because you know what you're investing toward. Making trade-offs consciously because you know what you're choosing between. Your why doesn't just improve your mental health, it improves your money decisions every single time. All right, let's get into the work though, because I don't want you to leave in the concept or leave this episode without making some real moves. So number one would be do the flow audit. Researchers who study Ikigai recommend tracking your week and noting the moments where you lose track of time. Not the moments that look good, the moments where you are genuinely absorbed, where an hour passes and it feels like 10 minutes, where you're finished and feel energized rather than drained. These moments are data. They're pointing at something, at something. Write down for 1 week and look at the pattern. Number two would be go back to before the pressure started. Think about who you were before the world told you who you needed to be, before survival mode kicked in, before you learned what was realistic. What did you care about? What problems made you angry? What did you naturally do that other people struggle with? Childhood curiosity is often purpose in its rawest form before it got edited by practicality. Move number three, ask what problem you keep showing up for. Purpose almost always has a service dimension. It connects to something outside of yourself. What injustice makes you want to fix something? What gap do you see in your community that you can fix, or in your industry or your family that nobody else seems to be addressing? The intersection of your natural ability and a real need is often where your purpose lives. So there was a self determination theory, right? One of the most robust frameworks in psychology identifies that three human core needs that purpose satisfies. Number one is competence, feeling effective at what you do. Number two is autonomy, feeling that you are the source of your own choices. Number three is relatedness, feeling connected to something and someone beyond yourself. When all three are present, human beings don't just function, they thrive. Purpose is the fastest path to all three simultaneously. And move number four, test it. Don't just think it. Purpose is not found through com, com stutter on my words. Purpose is not found through contemplation alone. It is confirmed through action. Take one thing that feels purposeful and do it in the smallest possible form, whatever it may be. It may be you volunteering, building a side project, having the conversation you've been avoiding. You know who you are. Create something. The clarity you're looking for does not come before the action, it comes through it. And the last and final move to make, number five, the one most people skip, I ain't gonna lie to you. Give yourself permission to not have it all figured out. And I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back. Give yourself permission to not have it all figured out. Let that weight go. Because purpose is not a single moment of revelation. It is a direction you find over time. The Ikigai research is explicit about this. Purpose is not achieved instantly, it is pursued. It evolves as you evolve. The man you're becoming in quarter two will have more clarity than the man you were in quarter one. And the man you will be at the end of the year will have more clarity than both. You don't need the whole map, you need the next step. And this is me telling you, take that next step. But here's what I want you guys to carry out of this episode. Quarter one asked who you are. Quarter two is asking, what are you building and why? Those are the same question or they're not, depending on how you get it. And the second one cannot be answered honestly until the first one has been confronted. This is that is why the arc is built this way. You now have permission to pursue your purpose as a serious, non-negotiable dimension of your life. not as a luxury, not as something you think about after the money is right, as the thing that makes the money mean something, as a filter through which every major decision this quarter gets made. Because here's the truth: the man who built generational wealth, who left real legacies, who changed things, they were not the most talented or the most resourced. They're the most clear. They knew why they were moving. And that clarity gave them an edge that talent alone could never give them. So get clear on your why. The rest of quarter two, we're going to build on it. This is Sana IE. I'm EXO. See y'all next week, man. Share the show, like, subscribe, wherever you at. Visit the website, sanaie.com. Subscribe on YouTube. We on YouTube. You watch us on YouTube, man. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. Send this to somebody. Send this to somebody who you feel like haven't found their purpose or their why. Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. That being said, man, enjoy y'all week. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.